All right, this is Miles Offit. Today we're talking about Brentford, the Bees.
The Bees.
Michael. We're back on the Bees.
Hey, Wood, let me hold that beat.
Brentford finished their first season in the Premier League in 13th place. 13, 7, and 18. They had a -8 goal differential at home. 7, 3, and 9, 25 points away. 6, 4, and 9, 22 points. Pretty similar. Pretty just the same across the board. They're keeping it consistent. They got some big wins. They got some big points. Taking a few from your boys over in Liverpool. What were some of their strengths going into their first season in the Premiership?
So one of the big strengths for Brentford, ownership. They always do the smart, resourceful thing. They're a tactical club, you know. They don't go and splash the cash because mainly they don't have the cash to splash. So they have
Moneyball United.
Yeah, they have to find ways to win, and they do that pretty well, especially last year. They did a great job of it. And they have to, like you said here, they have to approach it analytically. You know, they have to, that whole Moneyball thing just brought in. And then Thomas Frank, I think he's a good coach. Kept them up last year, did more than anyone expected them to do, finishing 13th. There always is that motivation was high last year, the first year being in the Prem. Might dwindle, teeter off a little bit. This year, you got to make sure. I think he's the guy to keep the energy levels up, though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, do you think... Yeah, and I think Thomas Frank's a good coach. What is he, top 10? Top 15?
In the Premier League?
Top 10.
Yeah, I'd probably say top 10.
Yeah?
I'd have to think about it. But
Pep, Klopp, Tukes. Moisey.
Moyes.
We're going to look like idiots here. I love it.
Potter.
Big Pots.
Oh, yeah. Graham Potter's better.
Big Pots.
Who else?
Vieira.
I don't know. He might be
Lance,
like... He might
Gerard.
Be like, no, none of them.
Okay.
Ten Hag.
1 hog, 2 hog, 3 hog.
He's 0-0 right now. 0-0.
He hasn't lost the game yet. Anyway, weaknesses. All right, let's talk about these weaknesses with Brentford. It's got to be depth. When you're playing on the margins like they are, it's not like they got a deep bench to go off of, and that's going to continue this year. And actually, I think it's going to be huge detriment to them this year. You mentioned it a little bit before. The sophomore season in the Prem, always a little bit tougher, always harder than that first one. You're catching lightning in a bottle in that first one. People are underestimating you. A little bit easier to catch people off guard, obviously. And then I think something that's really going to hurt them, and we can probably talk about this in a second, is you, as a team like Brentford, you weren't ever expecting to get a talent like Christian Eriksen. I have to assume, right? Like at that level, probably weren't thinking you're ever going to get that. There's a lot of creativity in that midfield that he provided. That's gone. I mean, that is now with the old Ten Hagger. And how do you replace that, and who steps in, and like what's gonna happen there? And I guess that builds off of the depth as well.
Absolutely. I obviously think, I wrote the Eriksen thing, but I think that's kind of just like a given. That's just like what they have to do, is they have to figure out how to get the best parts of Christian Eriksen, who listen, it was an incredible story, him coming back, doing all that stuff. It's so funny how he was such a big deal for Brentford. And does he start for United? Is he a starter? Well, he could be. And if he's not a starter, he's a damn good bench guy, right? But I'm just saying, for what Brentford had at the time, he was like so much better and so much different than what they were offering going forward, especially, that he kind of solidified them in that we kind of thought they might teeter down, and he came in and just kind of pulled it through. So, it's going to be really, really hard to replace that.
Yeah. I mean, I I don't want to go into our Manchester United take on this pod or on this video or on this show, but like
Right.
he's not starting in front of Bruno probably, but the Beak and Fred and McFred and I think he is. He's got to be a starter at United. But I totally agree. Like I also think we're going to see, and I don't know if you're going to see this actually. I think that's a better way to put it. He had to have had an impact on that locker room.
Yeah.
No one really in there has played the type of games that he's played or been at the level that he's at. That's huge for that locker room. So with him leaving and there being depth problems and holes, Michael, where do you see them and where should they buy?
So obviously Eriksen left. They already brought in Keane Lewis Potter, 21-year-old from Hull City, on like a 7-year deal, I'm pretty sure, which is
big deal.
Pretty insane. He's 21 years old. He might not be an immediate impact. I think Aaron Hickey will from Bologna, 20-year-old left back. That's good. And then Strakosha, free goalkeeper on loan. That's pretty cool. Where they should buy, obviously we just got done talking about it, the midfield. They need to buy in the midfield. They need to buy an attacking midfielder. They obviously got rid of Eriksen, 30 years old. I didn't even know they had this like a policy on 30-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's, I don't think they're going to live and die by it. I think that's what they want to do. But I think most teams in their position right now are saying, like, there's so much talent under 30 that we don't need to spend time looking for someone above 30, I guess.
Right.
So I think we also mentioned they got to get a striker. Tony's the only one up there, and Ivan Toney's getting sold at some point. I just have to assume that he is. I don't know if it's this window. If it's not this window, it might be next window. And then I know that you also put in here backup center back. Again, everywhere I think is pretty thin, but center back, they got Pinnock, they got Jansen, and I believe that's Ben Mee, right?
Ben Mee, yeah. They just picked up Benny Mee from Burnley.
Yeah, Benny Mee. So I think those are the three positions that we highlighted as like, all right, if you're going to spend some money, where are you going to spend it? This is where you need to spend it. So let's start with the attacking mids. Who'd you get in this one?
Oh, I found a gem, John. I went to Italy. I went to wherever Sampdoria is.
Italy.
No, I know that, but what's the city? Do you know?
I mean, back-to-back geography beat champ, but I couldn't tell you heads or tails of Sampdoria.
All right, well, I went and found Mikkel Damsgaard, left wing attacking midfielder, 22-year-old Danish. You have him for years. You can sell him on for bigger.
Big.
Yeah, you could sell him on for bigger money too. That's why I like this 21 to 23 age group, is because even if they don't perform, incredibly, they're still, by the time their contract ends, they're still in that 27-28 range, and they're about to hit their peak or whatever. Yeah, you can at least recoup what you got. So yeah, I think that would be a great fit. I think he, obviously with Sampdoria, he played really, really well. He is one of the best players on the Danish team. I think he'd be an obvious great fit for that squad.
Yeah, I love this one. There's two of these that I don't have any issue with that you picked, and I was like, all right, I think you got this one covered. The one area where you and I both provided someone was striker. You went with a younger option. I went with a little older option. You tell me yours. I'll tell you mine.
All right. I think these are the ideal picks, and ideally you'd want to get somebody, again, in that age range, that younger age range. Yours actually might be more realistic now, but I went with Daniel Malen from Dortmund. They have Haller, whatever. Yeah. They have Haller, who I think, not on on a serious note here, he has testicular cancer, right?
Yeah, I think I did see something about that this week. So, thought T's and P's up for Seb Haller. Yeah,
maybe not. I said that they're pretty deep at striker, but when you lose your best one, potentially, maybe not. But they have Haller, they have Adeyemi, and they have Youssoufa Moukoko. who's younger than Malen actually, and is like has a pretty big
good as fuck.
Yeah, has a pretty high ceiling. So I would say they're probably willing to part ways with one of them. Probably not Allaire, they just brought him in, and Adeyemi they just brought in. I think they want to keep the younger guy, so I went with Malen.
I think it's an interesting pick, and I do think it's one of those scenarios, like we've said, when you're in the Premier League, you just got more money. You got more money than anyone else, so you can take some risks on people outside of the Premier League. I stayed in the same league as you. I stayed in the Bundesliga. I went Alisson Plie, 29 years old, so he's getting close to 30, but he is a proven goal scorer in a big, tough league. And I think that if you get him, and Tony goes in the winter, you're basically back to square one. Plie, I don't think as good as Tony, but I don't necessarily think you need to go find the next wonder kid at striker. I think that there's a lot of strikers that are 27, 29, maybe even 30 that can go score a goal. And that's what they need. They just need to go score goals. Because I think the system itself is going to help them defensively. They need to go score goals.
You know who would have been great for them at striker?
Who's this?
Divock.
Origi, yeah. Origi would have done a job for just about anyone in the Premier League. Honestly.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, last one was center back, though, and you said you had no problem with this, so I feel pretty good about it. I got a loan to buy Jeffet Tanganga from Spurs. I think
I love a loan to buy, so yes, yeah, I love this
I think he's probably out of the plans with Conte. I haven't seen anything about him playing. Like I know like Reguilón is out of the plans, so he's like basically trying to find a move. I'm not sure about Tanganga, but I haven't seen him like doing much. Can play center back and play right back. They usually do that 2 center back or 3 center back with wing backs type of thing. So he's versatile. It's all about versatility now. You need to be able to play multiple positions. You need to be able to rotate, all that stuff. So
yeah, no, I like this one as well. And based on some of my other picks, like if you got someone who's already played in the Premier League, knows what it's about, knows the toughness, knows the physicality, knows what you got to bring in, day out. The premium is high, yes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think that's worth it. I think sometimes I'd rather spend the extra $5 million to get the guy that's been in a North London derby and played some games that were actually important and meant something. So I love Tanganga. Michael, second season in the Prem, where do you got the Bees finishing?
They finished 13th, right?
Yes, they did finish 13th.
I will be generous and say 13 to 15. I think it's teetering more towards the back end of that. I'm thinking like around 15, 14.
Yeah. I've been pretty much in your range every time with who I pick, with where I pick.
Yeah, we're boring as shit.
Yeah, this is going to be no different. I got 15 for them. I got 15, and I actually think that's generous for me. I can see if some deals go down and they aren't recouping some players, I think it get way worse. I think if you lose Ivan Toney and you don't have a replacement ready to go, like I said, scoring goals is the issue, and that's your goal scorer, and he's gone.
Is Ivan Toney the most important player for a team that if they lose him, they're just fucked in the Premier League? I have another one in mind. What's
your degree of fucked? I think that if Man City wants to win the title, you can't lose KDB this year.
So you get second, like that? No, that's not what I'm fucking talking about.
So relegation is fucked. All right, who's your guy?
You're actually fucked. You're not just getting second.
Okay, who's your guy?
Oh, it's a little teaser. I just want to know what you thought. It's for an upcoming episode, so stay tuned.
Oh, I do think Ivan Toney's huge. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think he's up there.
I don't want to put it all on him because they do play in a system. They do play in. They should be able to withstand someone leaving and not having it go all to shit. But because their depth is so like thin, when he's gone, I just don't see where the goals are coming from. And Buemo? Wissa? I don't know.
Yeah, I love Wilson.
I don't know. So yeah, I got them. I got them 15th, but be wary. I think it could be. I think they're going to be close to that relegation zone. All right, that's Brentford. The Bees. We're back.
The Bees.
I'm in New York now. This looks like I'm being held hostage, but I'm not. All right, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Tell us what you think. Are you a big Brentford guy?
Who do you think is the most important player for their team in the Premier League?
Hey, Wood, let me hold that beat.